Great move, Thomas Chabot scores!
He bursts over the Panther line, White to the net, shoots, and he scores!
Here's Kachuk, right in, scores! Balcers, a handoff to Balcers, going to the net, scores!
Welcome to Sens Talk. My name is Brandon, and I am your host. Before we get started, please follow us on Twitter at SensTalk_ for large updates with the games and, of course, breaking news. As well, please check out our sponsor, SeatGeek.com, or download the app in the App Store and use our promo code SensTalk. You will save $20 off your first purchase. Now, tonight's game is between the Ottawa Senators and the Florida Panthers, the first game of the decade for both teams, as the 20s are starting to roar on. Now let's get into some pre-game notes before we get into the game itself. Firstly, Rudolfs Balcers finally caught up. 24 games in Belleville this year, 19 points. He was really good, or 24 points in 19 games, pardon me. He was fantastic, and he's finally caught up, getting opportunity on the top six for the Senators. Now, the Senators also made a pre-game trade, acquiring a defenseman from the Montreal Canadiens, Mike Riley, former Minnesota Wild defender as well, for Andrew Sturz. Needed to give up a contract because it's Scott Sabrin's contract, and a 2021 fifth rounder. I like this deal for two reasons. One, Riley is a body in the NHL, and he can perform, making 1.5 for this year. Next year, he can perform, he can play on the latter end of your defense, and to give Chabot another reliable defender, so he doesn't have to play 30-plus minutes a night. This as well helps Sanders' blue line stabilize and potentially send Brandstrom down to dominate in Belleville in the AHL to help further his development, because he looked fantastic in Belleville this year. Now, before we get into some game notes, as I reported, Bruce Gary, question period in the first intermission, said that the Sens will hold discussions with Dylan DeMello, Mark Borowiecki, and Jean-Gabriel Pageau, and see from there whether or not a contract extension is potential or a trade needs to be the route. So those three are the targets for the Senators. I'm happy to see Burrow being targeted. I think he's a good seventh defenseman, good leader in the group, good to keep him on as a depth guy. And DeMello, I think we should keep him to be with Chabot, as every single good defender always has that guy next to him. I think DeMello can be that guy with Chabot. He has great underlying numbers, good chemistry between the two, and he's always been good with Chabot, so I like that. And Pager, I love Pager, but if we could get a first rounder and a hell of a prospect for him, I don't see how we turn that up. But I'd love to see if there's a team-friendly deal for him to sign. I would not be against that whatsoever. Duclair, I put a little tidbit. So Duclair seems to be more of an off-season move, I believe, as he is a restricted free agent. So either they're maybe just content with qualifying him, or they're just content with waiting until the summer. We'll see. As well, Bruce also mentioned that the Senators will explore potentially re-signing or extending, Tyler Ennis. So we'll have to see from there. I prefer to trade him. I like the guy, but right now you got to sell high. He's sort of like Brian Gibbons last year, but much better. He's on pace for 46 points. And, when you got a guy like that who's not historically that good, he's a solid player. He's definitely an NHL player, but not like 46, 50-point guy. So you can potentially even get a second rounder for him, so I would definitely do that, especially in a deep draft like this one. Ron Haynes needs a trade chip, and Anderson will make the call on his own for what the remainder of his NHL career will be like. Now let's get into tonight's game. Like I said, Ottawa is taking on the Panthers. It's Sergei Bobrovsky for the Florida Panthers, and for the Ottawa Senators, it is Craig, the Beast Mode, Anderson, both goalies making some big saves, but Bobrovsky was on his game early, and Anderson, no chance on this first one. Big penalty by Ottawa, big power play goal for the Panthers. Dadonov gets a nice pass from Hoffman, the former Ottawa Senator. They get a 1-0 lead early on, and this one literally goes through the skate. Here's the skate, and the puck goes right through of Golubev's skate to Dadonov for his 15th of the year on the power play from Hoffey and Keith Yandel. 1-0 Panthers. But the Senators start to fight back. They get some momentum, and then Tyler Ennis gets a shot, and it deflects off Stillman and in. Bobrovsky flops, couldn't get there. Nick Paul, the only assist on the goal for Tyler Ennis' 11th of the year, on pace for 46 points. Ottawa evens it at 1 apiece, and then 5 minutes later, a beautiful pass from Anthony Duclair, and he finds Turney, who roofs it for his first in 10 games. That's his 5th of the year from Anthony Duclair, and the Ottawa Senators have the lead going into the second period. 9 minutes in, though, in this period, usually the second period is Ottawa's period, but this period was all Panthers. 9 minutes in, Evgeny Dadonov tip in, no chance on the power play from Huberdeau and Keith Yandel. Ochari wants to get into the score, and he makes it a 3-2 Panthers lead. Frankie Vetrano, Shabbat's on a 2-1, pitches to Dadanov. Vetrano's there for the one-timer, no chance Anderson. And then Sevier, why not, with 4.5 left on the clock, puts one in for his 5th of the year from Pissick and Boyle. 5-2 Panthers. We're going to the third. The Panthers have taken complete control of this game, but the Senators, they don't want to die. And after a very timid third period, Connor Brown squeaks one from Ennis past Bobrovsky. It's a cut, the lead to 2. It's 5-3. And the Senators suddenly have some momentum. They're getting some shots on net. Brannstrom's looking good. But Huberdeau throws one over Brannstrom into the empty net from Strawman and Stillman. His first National Hockey League point, so congrats to Stillman. As his dad is the former Ottawa Senator, Corey Stillman, so that's pretty cool. As the Ottawa Senators, Huberdeau 17th, the Ottawa Senators lose it 5-3 for the first game of the 2020 and the 20s decade. They lose this one 5-3 to the Florida Panthers. Big for the tank. Unfortunate for the Sens fans in attendance. Ottawa and Florida even in the shots, 31-31. And throughout the game, Ottawa played a decent first period, leaving that one with a lead. And the third period, they turned it on later in the latter half of it. Well, that second period, they got outshot 15-6. Dominated in a period they usually dominate in. And that was just like the last game. Ottawa lost the game against Florida in the second period. It happened again here. Face-offs, Ottawa lost battle 32-29. Ottawa's power play went 0-3. Difference maker for the Panthers. Theirs went 2-3. Hits for 35-21 in favor of the Senators. Besides that, let's get to the Sens Stock Star of the Night, voted by you, the fans. So the fourth Star of the Night, brought for the Sens Stock Star of the Night, voted by you, the fans, brought to you by SeatGeek.com. Download the app in the App Store or use the promo code SENSTOCK. You will save $20 off your first purchase as follows. 11% of the vote for Alfie. Christian Jaros, nowhere near the capabilities of Alfie, but he is a solid National Hockey League defenseman, and I believe Christian Jaros can be a solid second, third pairing defensive shutdown guy with some offensive potential, like that pass to Nick Paul in the last game from Jaros was showing his offensive capabilities. However, tonight, with the opportunities he was given next to Tom Shabbat, if they don't re-sign DeMello, I'd love to see Jaros with Shabbat. He's a good anchor guy, and not in a bad way. He's letting Shabbat freely express himself and skate all over the ice while he's back defending. We saw Shabbat a lot more in this game get up into the play, and that's because Jaros was in the back, making sure no odd-man rush happened. So, he's the 4-star because he helped Shabbat further elevate his game while playing a solid defensive game for him. And speaking of Shabbat, it's Shabbat again, 3rd star, 22% of the vote. Because of Jaros, he got a lot of those offensive opportunities. Big few opportunities in this game where he just slammed it home for the point, hit the post once. Brady hit the deflection, hit the double post. So Shabbat could have had 2 points there, and then he had a big block from Stillman. That's 3 points off the board there. Shabbat was spectacular tonight. I give the credits to Jaros, but Shabbat is a stud defenseman, and obviously he's going to have games like this. Second star, 28% of the vote. Connor Brown, goal tonight and assist tonight. He was fantastic. It was either him or Turner I was going to put here, but on the defensive side of things, he looked good. Those 2 penalties, power play goals for the Panthers, he had nothing to do with them. He looked good covering the defender. He's a smart hockey IQ guy. I like his speed. He drew a nice penalty in the second period, I believe, on a breakaway. Drew the penalty. He had a good game. Second star. First star, 39% of the vote for the Sens Stock Star of the Night, voted by the fans. It's the Duke. Also the Molson Cup winner of December for the Ottawa Senators, the best player of the Sens in December. He's 39% of the vote. He wins the Star of the Night. And he had a good game. Like usual, showing off his speed, abilities, a nice pass there for the steal, and then a beautiful pass to Turney, make it a 2-1 Sens lead. Unfortunately, things kind of got squandered after that, but declared a solid game as Ottawa lost this one, unfortunately, 5-3. Now, the next Sens game is against another Florida team, at home again against the Tampa Bay Lightning on Saturday at 7 p.m., on Saturday night, Eastern Time. So besides that, I hope everyone had a fantastic New Year's, so Happy New Year's once again. Now let's wrap this up. So thank you all for watching. Please follow us on Twitter at @Senstock_ for all 7 days of the games and of course breaking news. Please like us on Facebook at Senstock, add us to your circles on Google Plus Senstock, click the big red button down there and subscribe to us. Like this video, share this video wherever you share cool stuff. Please check our website at SenstockCentral.com. We update that every single day. And of course, please check out our sponsor, SeatGeek.com, or download the app in the App Store and use our promo code SENSTOCK. You will save $20 off your first purchase. Thank you all for watching. Appreciate the support. Check out SenstockCentral.com. We update that every single day. And I'll see you in the next one on Saturday. Go Sens go.